What's up, interwebs? It's me, KioKilla, and today I'm here to review the PowerA Fusion Controller for the Xbox One and Windows. Let's get started. The PowerA Fusion Controller is BD&A's response to people who want a more customizable controller experience than a standard controller, in similar fashion to the Xbox Elite wireless controller. But rather than shelling out the $150 for Microsoft's Elite controller, you're only looking at spending $50. Is this worth the $50 asking price? Let me walk you through what you're gonna get with this bad motherfucker. The design is visually appealing, with some intricate grooves in the controller's handles. I think they may have been designed to give you better grip on the controller, but as far as I could tell, I don't think it had much of an impact. That being said, it feels great, and I haven't had any sweaty palm drops so far, so maybe the grooves work better than I give them credit for. The size of the controller is almost identical to a Microsoft wireless controller from a height and width perspective, but it's all around thinner, since you don't have a battery pack getting in the way. I'm a huge fan of the standard Xbox One controller, and to me, they set the quality standard for a one-size-fits-all controller. But I have to admit, I'm fond of PowerA's wired controllers in general because they sort of blend the great ergonomics of the Xbox One controller with the weight and thinness of the old PlayStation 2 controllers, and this controller is no exception. The thumbsticks have great responsiveness and feel well tuned, and like the Elite wireless controller, this comes with additional thumbsticks so you can customize the controller to fit your preferred feel and play style. For instance, I prefer to have the bulbous, rounded stick on the left side, which is the side commonly used for movement in games, and it feels more like the old PlayStation controllers. For the right stick that's commonly used to aim, I used a smaller, indented stick with texturized grips on the outside, not unsimilar to the original Xbox One controller. Yeah. The D-pad is the weakest link here. It looks great and feels nice, but I felt as though I would push a direction on the D-pad, feel the click to signify that I pushed it all the way, and occasionally, it wouldn't register in-game or on the menu screen. Because of that, I would just automatically push it down harder than I typically would to make sure it was activating properly. Naturally, you have all the standard buttons and triggers that you would in any Xbox controller, but what makes this controller unique is that there are 2 trigger locks on the back and 2 customizable buttons. The trigger locks enable you to independently lock each trigger so that you only have to push them down about a third of the way you typically would to activate them, meaning you're firing your guns or attacking slightly quicker than if you had to pull the trigger all the way. I have no way of using data to quantify whether or not this helped me significantly, but I can tell you that I've kept my triggers locked since I bought the controller because it feels better to me. The 2 customizable buttons on the back can be mapped as any face button, with the exception of Start and Select. I mean, the view and the menu buttons. You'll always be Start and Select to me. These, like the trigger locks, are supposed to help increase efficiency while playing certain types of games. For instance, when playing a frantic shooter like Titanfall or Black Ops 3, you'll be running and gunning, and even wall running and jumping over people, which, with typical control configurations, you aim with the right thumbstick and jump with the A button, in which you'll have to use your right thumb to do both. By mapping the A button to one of the back buttons, you can keep your thumb on the thumbstick and use one of your inactive fingers to push the customized button on the back to jump, theoretically making you a more efficient player, because you're not having to move your thumb back and forth from buttons to thumbstick, etc. But therein lies the caveat. While I can most certainly see the benefit of these customizable buttons to make use of your otherwise useless fingers, most of us have been playing shooters for years, so we'd have to retrain our hands and brains to use these buttons instinctively, meaning we won't be able to take advantage of the increased efficiency until using those buttons becomes second nature. Unlike a lot of wired Xbox controllers, this controller does have a built-in headphone jack, so you can make use of your swanky gaming headset. Overall, would I recommend the PowerA Fusion controller? Yes. The controller feels great after hours of play, and since it's wired, you don't have to worry about your controller dying and having to swap out battery packs or plug in a charger or whatever. At a third of the price of the Elite controller, you can have access to trigger locks, 2 customizable buttons, and customizable thumbsticks, and as with most wired Xbox One controllers, you can use this on both your Xbox One and your Windows PC. Aside from a questionable D-pad, this controller is solidly built and makes for a great addition to those of us who play for long periods of time, want more customization, and use our controller on both Xbox and PC. If you have any other questions about the controller, ask them in the comments below and I'll be sure to get back to you. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you're so inclined, check out this other stuff. You guys are amazing as always. I'll see you next time. Later!